Alright guys, so carrying on with the solo training videos, I want to go over a bunch of different ways we can use a slip line. So we've got ours set up with a decent rope. If you have that, that's great. It's gonna be a little more forgiving on you. If you don't, if you just have string or yarn, you're gonna have to be more gentle. There's things you're gonna have to change a little bit. You have to avoid touching it. Alright, so first thing we can do with the slip line, people do most is get into your stance. Now you want it, you can see it's about chest level on me if I'm standing up straight. Right? If I get down into a proper stance, now it's on my shoulder. All right? It's a way of enforcing that stance on you. You don't want to be standing up this high. Okay? Right? You're not in the Muay Thai ring. You can't get away with this. There's other things that you got to worry about. So you want to be a little bit lower. Knees are bent. It's starting out on one shoulder, right? Since I'm going to be bobbing and weaving, I'm not having my hands out here. I'm bringing them in closer. I'm keeping them up here. They stay here as I go down and I come up. I don't want to let them drop. It's a really natural thing. Everybody sort of does it. As they drop, they also drop their hands a little bit, right? I think it's pretty obvious when you look at it, you can see the danger, right? I got under, but maybe he still finds me. And I got nothing there to protect myself. And maybe I read things wrong and it wasn't the punch that I thought. It was the other hand, or it was a kick, or it was a knee. My best chance is to have my defense already there. So, first of all, I want to do, I'm in my stance, I'm just going to bob from one side to the other. If you've got a sturdy rope, it's okay if your head is brushing it. That's actually the way boxers do it. They want the top of their head touching. So that means they're not exaggerating the motion. All right? It means that they're in position to fire back right away. Okay? Also, in terms of what we're doing, in terms of self-defense, if I'm going too low, not only am I kind of out of position, I may be in more danger of an uppercut or a knee coming at me. I want to go just under that line. Once you can do that static in one position, now you want to step forward as you do it. All right, so normal step we would take. Stepping and sliding that back foot with us. So I'm going to step forward with my front foot every time I bob. Okay? So that's the second thing we can do. Now, what we like to do in Krav Maga a little bit more is instead of using that bob and weave just to stay in the pocket and fire back, we want to use it to get an angle, right? To get outside and to get close. Because Krav Maga is about fighting in close. Right? So now, instead of just stepping forward with my lead foot, whichever direction I'm going, that foot steps. So bigger step, getting outside so I can fire back. Now I gotta go the other way, so the other foot steps. Okay? I've still got this to keep me from exaggerating how far I go. Okay? Once we get to the outside a little bit, now what do? Well, let's do a few simple strikes. So I come out here, I step with my left foot, so I'm going to use my left hand, throw an uppercut. You may have to move this back foot slightly, right, so you're not getting yourself off balance. But I want to throw this uppercut on the other side. Okay? After that, boom, other side, out here. Okay? Now there's certain punches that are going to be awkward to do on a slip line. Right? If I'm just going straight down and I want to throw crosses and hooks, this line is kind of in my way. Because I want to move my head offline as I throw that punch. And this is going to be in my way. Right? So I don't want to do this for straight punches. If I do a hook, I'm going to want to move out. Because like the same thing. I don't want it making me do this, right? So that brings us to the next stage we're gonna do. We're gonna take that step, but now instead of just staying here, I'm gonna pivot and face the line. Here I got a lot of choices. I could throw that hook over. I could throw an uppercut under. I could just drop level and throw across to the body, right? So if I'm using it this way, I want to change levels. So if one punch goes over, the next punch goes under, right? And vice versa. That hook could have been to the body. That cross could have been to the head, right? So I'm doing my bob. Now when I step, I'm completely offline, all right? If he's facing that way, I've got a good angle to take advantage of now, okay? So we're working our footwork, we're working some of our punches. Next thing I can do, since I'm doing a lot of bending already, right? They may start to read that as what it looks like. I'm bobbing and weaving. So instead of just bobbing and going into punches, as I drop, I'm going to drop further, all right? So working into this striking, I'm running going into more of a wrestling move. Going for my bobbing, and then I take a penetrating step, as if I'm coming in to get his legs. All right? If you haven't seen this before, if this is new, make sure you got a relatively soft surface to do it on. What I'm doing is taking a little step forward, and then I'm going to put my knee to the ground. So knee over toe, and the back foot takes a big step forward. Right? The reason wrestlers do this is they want to cover a lot of distance and have good posture, good balance when they get there. Right? Because if you just go for someone's legs by bending your waist, they're going to stop you. It's going to be too easy for them to defend. And you're not going to be in a good position to do anything afterwards. All right? So there's a few things we can do with striking. Right? Another little trickier thing, maybe a little more advanced. As I come across, I'm low. So when I throw something from here, I'm going to turn this elbow over and come straight up. Right? Okay? I know it looks a little fancy, but sometimes those little moves catch someone by surprise. And since people tend to, if they know what they're doing, keep their hands up here, there's a chance that even someone who knows what they're doing, you might split their guard and catch their chin anyway. Right? It's basically the same principle as throwing a proper uppercut vertically there. It comes through the defenses. All right, so that's a few things we can do with our hands, with our feet, with our footwork. Steve's going to show you guys some kicking we can do with the slip line next.
All right, so to utilize that same idea using this line, all right, just understand that, again, as Mr. Allen said, if this is not something like this is a nice, really sturdy rope, you want to be careful here. One drill I like to do just to start warming up, once I already got some stretching done, I start the rope a little lower, so I lower the rope, and I try doing my round kicks. Let me tell you why round kicks. Because oftentimes when people are struggling to get the round kicks higher, what they're doing is they're expending all their energy just bringing the leg up. So they're sort of sitting in the kick, sort of dropping into it. The leg kind of sort of gets up there, but the round kick ends up being just this, like a smack to the face. A proper round kick has to come across to strike at the target. So if I'm hitting low, I want to go across those legs. If I'm going to the head, I also want to go across the head. So what I'm going to do is I start raising it higher and higher with my kicks. Ultimately, say a guy's standing right here, so that's about face height to a guy who's fighting. I want to go for a headshot, right? So I'm going to go right here. I want my leg, not just to make it here, not just to touch the rope, I want to go clear across. So to do that, I have to raise my leg and make sure that my toes are pointing that way. My knee is pointing that way, my shin is pointing that way, because that's my striking surface, the shin. Come clear across the line. And I'm just gonna let myself spin. Right now it's just basically a stretch. Just gonna come across this way. All right, then go back the other way. So come across this way. Come across that way. Come across that way. All I'm doing is just making my leg come across here just to get some flexibility. And it shouldn't be too hard to do. You start low and then you start increasing the height. My philosophy is if you can do a phenomenal kick, you know, at face height, then you'll do a fantastic kick at knee height, no problem. All right? Good. There's some other drills we can incorporate into the actual bobbing and weaving. So as I'm up here, as I'm going through here, I just bobbed out of the way of a strike. I just access this groin. Boom. Why? Because your aggressor, as he's striking, might be opening himself up. It's a great target for Krav Maga. So as I'm going here, that leg, boom. And here, right again, bang. I can do that. Very simple. Instead of me with the rear leg, I can go here, right? And since I'm already here, what do? Since I have this leg here, as I turn out, there's my kick. Here, turn out, there's my kick. And you can start incorporating the punches into it as well. All right? By that same token, as I'm coming this way, I see a leg, it's isolated, bang, there goes a round kick. I drop, as I see the leg isolated, bang, kick that leg out. You can do it for virtually any kick. You can bob here, press and kick there. Bang. All those kicks fit in just nicely. You can actually start from here. As you're about to go down, start with that stop kick, boom, come here. You see? What I did was I just stopped his advance or stuffed one of his kicks and then went in. All right? All these things are great. As we were doing this one where we were bobbing here and coming out to do those strikes, what else do I have? I have that round kick, I have that pressing kick, right? I have that side kick. So you do it as you spin out. Here, into the strike, and there it is. You start combining the hand techniques that Alan showed you with some of the leg techniques. And the good thing about this is that if you're accustomed to working with this, you develop some great habits. Every time you're going down and you catch yourself smacking yourself in the face with the rope, you know, gotta do that, it's muscle memory. All right? Every time you keep clipping the rope with your foot as you're kicking, muscle memory. So it helps you, while we're still in isolation, get some proper technique, really go into the details, so when we come back to the mat, our Krav Maga is that much better, okay? So guys, keep training and I'll see you in class hopefully very soon.